Are you kidding me? That's what?
Yeah, every so often it happens that Ryan is right.
100% right. Not even a little bit right.
Tucker Pluman, 2 points last game.
No kidding.
My man!
Hey, neither does me running shirtless, but that turned out very well. Welcome to the PP1 Podcast. I just achieved all 3 goals for the day on my Apple Watch.
Oh, I thought you were going to tell me you break some Candy Crush score or something.
No, I haven't done that. Not yet. We're still doing it. It says stay in the groove. So according to my watch, I'm getting things done. I'm pretty happy about that. How you doing?
Doing good, fella.
I'm exhausted. I know you're exhausted.
It's been a week.
Been a day.
Yeah.
It's been a day. And we haven't, I haven't done any sports today.
Yeah, ball got canceled. That was weird.
Yeah, we'll get into that in a second. For sure. We're going to get into that a little bit. I'm going to put the acro team. Actually, I'm not going to put our team on blast. I'm going to put the other team on blast and my preparedness on blast. Welcome to the PP1 Podcast. This is Ryan. Ted is to my screen right. We are part of the Dean Blundell Network. You can find us on Apple Podcasts. You can find us on Spotify Podcasts because they're everywhere. You can find us on Google and Amazon, I think. A little bit of everywhere. If it's available on a podcast platform, you will find the PP1 Podcast available to you. Most likely, you're going to be Apple or Spotify, but gotta fill the things. We are presented in concert with our good friends at Move Health and Wellness. I will do a proper ad read with them today because they deserve it. The good folks at Move Health and Wellness. And we are going to talk some Canucks hockey, believe it or not. Not really anything has happened, but at the same time, things are happening. So other than, baseball is kind of getting into full swing. I don't know. I almost have my gazebo done, this ongoing project. No help, no thanks to you, but that's okay. You were there for motivation. I'm going to get you on something from this. I'm not sure what. I don't know yet, but I will grab your help somehow. So you're on the other side of the lake. So that's a big commitment if you do come over here.
I'm a yog. Yeah, I'm a yog away.
Yeah. So it's not like, hey, can you come down the street and help me out? It's a big commitment, and I get that. So
this week when we get together with the Ball Hawks boys, they both live over here too. So that's 3 of the 4 of us. So you're gonna have to make your way up here for a beer.
I know. I don't like that. I don't like the fact that I have to bring the party. It takes 3 of you guys like, oh, we're not going to go anywhere. I have to be the one that makes this happen. But it'll be worth it. It'll be worth it because I don't know. The only thing we're really going to talk about besides enjoying beer, maybe some little PP1 Ball Hawks second annual track meet.
Yeah, that could still be a thing.
Now I'm going to put this out there. So I had a bit of an issue with my knee today. It made this.
Is this you pre-setting expectations about your possible upcoming performance about the track meet you just mentioned?
Yeah,
because you went right from track meet to bad knee.
Yeah, so this is kind of worries
flag
me.
For me.
So it was I was basically going to get into do you think one of us are going to sustain an injury that will be serious?
Well, you're the only one that runs, so.
Well, running doesn't mean anything. What about doing the 3-cone drill? That's just all pivots.
Well, that's still running, but you're the only one of us that's been running, so.
That's true. I mean, you do running around the bases when you're doing okay.
Yeah.
More of a jog when you're out there.
More of a jog, yeah.
More of a slight trot.
Yeah.
Speaking of baseball, yeah, that's going to be fun. Speaking of baseball, we had your work team on Monday night, and I decided it was a late game, 9:30. Don't love the 9:30 games because, especially for you're on the other side of town. So it's a bit of a trek. And I thought, okay, it's a holiday Monday, so I've had nothing to do all day. We tried getting some yard stuff done, bits and pieces. And then I just hit an absolute slump where I thought, you know what? I'm not going to make it to 9:30. I need a nap. So I had a nap, nice solid dad hour nap. I was refreshed, feeling great. And I thought, okay, well, I don't want to just wait here maybe I'll go grab myself a coffee. It was a little chilly. There was like a sprinkly rain, nothing major, but I'll grab myself a coffee and I'll stretch it out the ball field. All good, right? Gonna be there a little bit early.
See, I think this is where your story goes a little bit awry, because a little bit early might be the reason why you showed up to a rained out game. Not a rained out game, but a canceled game.
It got rained out by the other team. So here's the kicker. The message that called it was about 8 minutes after I left. So had I checked it like one more time,
had you not tried to show up 45 minutes before the game, you probably
no,
would've.
I was gonna be there just under half an hour, and I figure get some warm up. It's cold outside, so then I get to the ball field, and yes, I found out it was canceled from multiple people. I was livid.
Shit, eh?
Mm-hmm. I had that coffee, so I just sat in the parking lot, and
it wasn't. Apparently, it was
stewed.
canceled due to the other team not having enough players.
That's kind of what I thought, because I knew it was getting tough, but they can call it whatever they want to call it. So anyway, I was a little bit cranky, but at the same time, I get to go to bed on time, and I'm an adult, so that was a big win for me. It's a big win.
Adulting's hard.
Adulting is hard. Speaking of big wins, the Tampa Bay Lightning are on to the conference finals. They swept Florida.
They might never lose again.
The President's Trophy. This might be the run we've been talking about for decades. Can a team go 82-0 and then run the table in the playoffs? We may find out. Or reverse. They're like the reverse Tiger Slam. Like, I'll win the playoffs. We'll sweep that. But then we'll take the regular season. Pretty impressive, though.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good hockey team over there. Like, it basically has, I mean, there's been all this talk about some of their matchups possibly not going their way due to like team speed.
Mm-hmm.
And they're this team that sort of loses players every single year during free agency, because it's every year they're like third and fourth line guys, like Yanni Gourde, for example, taken in the expansion draft. They're all sought after players, right?
Yeah.
Cernak was another guy that they talked about
right
2 seasons ago, right? A big kind of hulking defenseman. You don't hear a lot about these big D-men being coveted because many of them aren't, fleet-footed, right?
Yeah.
So they continue to sort of produce these players that get snapped up by other teams throughout the season, but then also continue to supplement, empty spots in their rosters with like really key smart free agent signings, but also like farm, right? Like these players from the farm just filter in every single year and play a role on this team. And some of them rise to bigger spots on this team, and others are just sort of like let to walk when it's time for them to walk, because they sort of price themselves out. And that's sort of like, it's the blueprint for what you want your team to be like, right?
Or they just get those blue chip prospects, so when it's time when they need a roster guy, they're like, oh yeah, we can trade you.
Yeah.
We can trade you because we need this right now. And I mean, a Stanley Cup is worth a heck of a lot more than unfortunately, developing a prospect. If you get a guy that wins you a cup right now, and in their case, potentially their third cup in a row, I'm willing to part with a prospect, a decent one, if it means that I could win another Stanley Cup.
Yeah, and they're in a position to make a trade for a quality veteran that's going to help put them over the top, i.e. JT Miller, right? And then also know when it's time to walk away. I know part of that had to do with the fact that they just couldn't afford him. Yeah. But instead of just not being able to afford him and then him just leaving or having to go or getting claimed, or that would never happen. But like they recoup, right? They go and get themselves a first round draft pick, right? So
they sure did.
That literally is it's everything you want your team to be. And so, I mean, I just hope that this group, this regime can get us to that point. And that's going to take some serious time. Like what Tampa has going on right now has taken years and years and years to build to the point where they can continue to supplement themselves. And now it's just a working machine, right?
And they were right on the cusp of it too in 2010, 2011. I mean, we were all hoping that we'd face Tampa as Canucks fans. I don't mean as the team, because clearly I do not play for them. I know, shocker. But that was a team. I know. But they had Steven Stamkos back then. They had Victor Hedman back then. They still
remember when Barry Melrose was coaching Tampa and he benched Steven Stamkos in his rookie year for like a bunch of games? He's got to learn the league. He's got to pay his dues. How
how that
about you
would
just
go.
let the guy who's going to lead the league in scoring play on your team, you
Yeah,
dummy?
maybe it's Chillberry. Maybe go back to that. Maybe go back to your Emilio Estevez Mighty Ducks, and let's call it a day. Like, they were a good team 10 years ago. In fact, they were right on the cusp of making something happen. They lost a little bit, obviously lost to Boston, and then they had a little bit of a hiccup throughout the 2010s, and then now, like, it's almost like, I mean, they've got the Kucherovs, they've got Vasilevsky, they've got I want to say Perron, Pat Maroon. They've got all these A type stars, all these contributing forwards. They've got a solid defense core, and they have the goaltender. But they had a lot of those leading up in the other, in the other decade. They had that in the last kind of run that they were trying to make. But now it's almost like they have like perfect pieces. Like, I mean, the whole, we joke about the salary cap thing with like Kucherov, but they're in a position right now where, like, I mean, the fact that they don't even have a guy like Luke Schenn as like a seventh defenseman, and they're still, I'm not saying Luke Schenn is like the key to all, but you know what I mean? Those were guys that were helping, so that they could allow their other stars to get rested on shifts, and they're still churning out a championship team, and they had something like that even 10 years ago. Now it's embarrassing.
Yeah, and they have guys like that step up, and like Johnson and so on and so forth, that lead this team and do awesome things when it's not like your key guys that are just like the main contributors. And then when it's time for these key guys to step back into their roles, like i.e. the Steven Stamkos of the world,
Yeah.
when it's time for those guys to step back into the roles, the other guys just filter back into a better position that's just as suitable for their roles, right?
Oh,
Like,
by the way, Braden Point isn't even playing right now.
yeah.
Like, if he comes back in this playoff run, dude, it's stupid. It's stupid over for everyone.
It's like all
he's
those
just
years
one
ago.
more amazing player.
Exactly. Yeah, it was like all those years ago. Like, I remember, like, early 90s or whatever, like maybe late 90s, like the Canucks are playing the Hawks like first round or something like that, and you're like up a couple games, and it's like, okay, they got to put him away now because like Ronek's back in 3 games, right?
Yeah.
Like, you can't stay here. The Lions comes in 3 days, right? Like, you have to finish it before the Lion shows up, right? And that's Braden Point. I mean, he could be that guy where they're already this good, right? I mean, it's
But,
pretty
like, think
scary.
about
It's
that.
pretty scary how good that team is.
So let's say, I mean, I don't know where his health's at, if he could play against either Carolina or New York. But let's say they win the conference final and go to the Cup. You add him to this current team that is absolutely waxing their opponents. I mean, the Leaf series, it was close. It was definitely close. It was a series. Then they went and took the President's Trophy, highest scoring team in the league, and just turned them. And now, again, not ridiculously, but I mean, they still had their way with them. Like, remember when Vancouver swept St. Louis in was it 2009, I think?
Yeah, was that not the year that like the flu ravaged through that roster?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, it was still a sweep, but it wasn't an easy series by any means, right?
I mean, they swept them.
I know that, but it wasn't like, if shut up. Like, it wasn't a series like where they just rolled them. Like, every game was still pretty hard fought. Like, they were still all close games. You know what I mean? The game 4, I don't think was, but whatever. I'm just saying, it's crazy to think that how they could continue to go and they could still add one more piece that they had to start with.
Yeah, and it's just a freebie.
And then you're like, oh, by the way, Braden Point's here. What's up? You need 5 extra goals this series. Yeah.
Hey.
You need 10 extra points. Okay, yeah. All right. No big deal.
I'm about to. So Christy and I just started watching Shoresy.
I don't know what that is.
Do you watch Letterkenny?
No.
Oh my god. So
No,
Shoresy's this
seen
character
2
that plays
episodes
with
of
the hockey.
Letterkenny.
I can't believe you haven't seen Letterkenny.
I've seen 2 episodes and it's awful.
Shoresy, oh my god, I can't believe you
come
think
at
it's
me.
awful.
You know what? I want to blow up the chat. If you guys honestly think that Letterkenny is like this classic show that like must be seen, it is so awful. It is so bad. It's just redundant. It is. and you can come at me. You can come at me, my good friend.
So Shorzy is a separate thing.
Anyway.
Shorzy is a character from Letterkenny that now has his own show.
Okay.
And he's playing in this 4-team AAA senior men's division hockey league. So it's like a bunch of former junior B all-stars trying to make.
Of course.
Yeah, but they're way past going to the NHL. But anyways, it's just ridiculous. The burn machine that Shorzy submits is just hilarious. You're gonna have to check it out.
I'll check out one episode.
I know it's not your thing, but I think
will check it out because
like
you're my friend. That's what I'll do.
I mean, I don't know if it's going to be good. I'm only 15 minutes in, but it's pretty funny so far.
Is it on the Flicks? What's it on? Netflix? Amazon?
It's on Crave, I think.
Oh, I don't have that.
And Glassy's right. He says it's no sunny in Philadelphia. I mean, yeah, it's
that's a funny
show. It's not that, yeah.
That's a funny show. Like The League, that was funny.
Dayman. Oh. So that's a funny one, actually. So Steve Fisher and I of Ballhawks and Thanos, him and I played in a dodgeball tournament. I don't know. It's got to be like 8 or 9 years ago, and the theme was that you had to dress up as a superhero. So him and I dressed up as Dayman and Nightman with like Dayman and Nightman t-shirts, and so I had the all white t-shirt that said Dayman on it, and like the white tighty whities over a top of like spandex pants tights, right? And then he was obviously Nightman with the black shirt and the black tight. Yeah, it was so good. I gotta find a picture of it. It was like probably an all-timer. So everybody shows up in these legit superhero costumes of Spider-Man and Batman and Superman and Thor, all these people, and then there's Dayman and Nightman. And then we won the whole thing, and nobody liked us. It was great. I loved it so much.
Well, that's a tough. I mean, I remember that team. I remember you guys. It was
like me and like my couple of my cousins, and like some people that I've like never met before, and we just like rolled. It was great. It was a super good time.
Yeah, you guys. It was always fun being on you.
But the costumes were where it was at.
That's what it's about. Glassy has a quick little comment here. Tampa, New York, or Carolina. What's the preference, or which would be the better series? Hey guys, by the way. I mean, I think the Rangers. I think both series would be fun. To be honest, I think you're going to see. I mean, New York, I think, would probably be good for the NHL if it goes that deep. But I don't know. I wouldn't mind seeing Shesterkin get going in a conference final. I wouldn't see what he's up against. I mean, Carolina, I think. I don't know. Carolina might be the better team to play.
I think Carolina is probably the tougher matchup.
Yeah,
to me that's a really fast, skilled team from top to bottom, and I think that they would play Tampa really tough. I just think they match up really good.
Yeah.
But the New York thing is just, I mean, Shesterkin versus Vasilevsky, like,
yeah, there's some good storylines there.
There's some good storylines there. I mean, is the Mika Zibanejad trade?
Sorry,
was it Zibanejad from Ottawa for a second? Is that like one of the all-time worst trades?
They made a few. They did make a few. Like I see him on New York, I'm like, man, how is he there? I was thinking that the other day. I'm like, how the heck is he on the Rangers?
Yeah,
but they were smart, right? Like when they said they were rebuilding, and then they did it, and they did it. Apparently, that's how you do it.
They did it. You're doing it. You're doing it, Peter. You're doing it.
You did it.
Yeah. So I guess for hockey's sakes, I think it might be more interesting seeing a New York matchup. But I mean, I don't know. The good thing is that anybody who advances past this round in that series is going to be a phenomenal series to watch.
Can I say the cliche? They deserve to be there. And any team that when you this start, you deserve to be there. Shut up, Ryan.
Yeah. So I mean, New York is what they want, right? Oh, he's saying it here. New York is what they'd want, a fast series, but Carolina be the tougher road. Yeah. So what I think is New York is what they'd want, but it's also who they need.
Yeah, it's like when we wanted Tampa invent. Where is this going?
I don't know.
You forgot to say this, so I'll say it. Glassy's obviously commenting on YouTube, but comment along on YouTube and Facebook Live. We'll comment with you, and if it's a good enough comment, we'll do something like this. We'll feature your comment on the show. That's that's pretty much as celebrity status as you'll ever get. It's about as close as we get. We just happen to run the show, so it's we call the shots. It's pretty awesome. I know you haven't seen a lot of the McDavid fest.
No, I was too busy watching Letterkenny.
It's a shame you chose the wrong option. Conor McDavid is now. I'm sure I've said this before. He's an amazing player.
He's pretty good.
I think that's pretty obvious. He's doing some pretty amazing things against Calgary. His first goal against Markstrom in Game 1 there, when he did his little like deke right up in the crease and scored.
How'd it
go? Like that.
I can't when we play hockey together. That's the noise that I've been hearing. I've been hearing you run up the floor and
then I go hip hip. Then I go hip hip.
Oh, this is the thing. So for anybody who doesn't know, Ryan has just recently figured out how to cheer in baseball.
Mm-mm.
So I mean, if anybody disagrees with me, then please let me know. But usually there's one guy that calls the cheer. So it's like 3 cheers for blah blah blah, hip hip, and then the team goes hooray, right? So what happens is 3 cheers for the blah blah blah, and then as somebody's yelling hip hip, Ryan's also yelling hip 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 hip. And he's throwing the whole thing off. This one guy, it's one job.
You've been dogging me on this for
forever because you just figured it out like this year. I love you. I love you. It's a really.
I thought concept. As a team we all celebrate the hip hip hooray. Apparently, I'm the only other one doing it, and apparently that is shunned on.
But it's been a year and a half of only you doing it. I thought you knew.
I just when you're in the moment, every time you're in the moment, you assume everyone's doing the hooray, right?
Yeah, but you're in a moment twice a week.
I feel that I'm being hated on for all the wrong reasons, and it's not fair. Speaking of Conor McDavid, before you rudely interrupted me, so he's having an amazing series. He's doing some stuff that only the Gretzkys and Lemieux and those guys have been doing. In fact, there's a chance he might outperform them, which in itself is mind-blowing.
Got to win a cup, though.
He definitely has to win a cup first. Is he that? And I want to word this properly because I could get toasted for this.
You have a history of.
I'm good at these things.
So
he's really, really good, but is he does everything he do, is everything that he does that amazing? I know that we kind of got this hard on for Elias Patterson. Remember every time he touched the puck, what's he going to do? What is he going to do? Quinn Hughes. Oh man, he crossed the blue line. What is he going to do? Does Conor McDavid do that? And again, he does a lot of these. And I'm not saying that he doesn't. Hear me out. But does he do that on every play? Or am I just numb to the fact that he does do that every play? And some of them I'm just throwing to the side because they are not that impressive. They're just really good.
Okay, so
you know what I mean here?
Well, this is a funny one, right? Because remember for the longest time we felt like the rest of the league and possibly the rest of the world was numb or dense to the fact that how good the Twins were.
Yes.
Together for a 4 or 5 year stretch.
Right.
So part of that I think obviously comes to the fact that they didn't come into the league with the same fanfare that a McDavid did.
No, not even close.
But McDavid works with the same challenges that the Twins do in that he plays in a small market Canadian city.
Exactly. Smaller.
Right? Smaller, right? And especially the rest of the league isn't watching Edmonton games.
If you will.
Yeah. The rest of the league isn't watching Edmonton games, right? But they're watching Edmonton games because of McDavid.
Right.
But I think it's not every time he touches the puck. I don't think so, right? But I mean, I think the frequency in which ridiculous things happen are just so much more than any other player. Maybe McKinnon I would compare it to.
Oh, he had a goal tonight. Holy
and there's obviously guys in this league like Draisaitl puts up more points than McDavid or has done in years past, right? But he just does it in a different way. It's sort of this sort of ho-hum, go about your business thing, but it's the explosive plays
I think those are the most consistent.
Yeah, it's almost like war in baseball, right? It's like these plays that just continually put things over the top, and they happen so much more frequently than they do for any other player in this league. that maybe Ovi, a young Ovi is what probably I would compare it to when he's going off, right? Even though McDavid is a more complete player. I mean, you could argue he's a more complete player than
Oh, he is a
Ovechkin.
complete player. Absolutely.
But the physicality isn't the same as what Ovi does, right? So there's other parts of the game where
Sure.
you could compare it and pull. But I mean, he's ridiculously good. Like it's pretty crazy. I can't think of a weakness in his game. I can think of parts of his game that are weaker than others.
There's their weakness.
Yeah, but even that, I mean, this team has Mike Smith as their starting goaltender, and he's gonna probably pull them through this round, right?
He's gonna drag them all through it, no matter what.
He really is, yeah. Like,
which is crazy to think. That in itself is crazy to think. So, we'll finish up with this, and then we'll get into our
fucking that Mike Smith thing, though. Holy shit!
Like, so I'm in the kitchen last night. We got home from Addison's ball, so it was late. The game went a lot later than we had hoped for. They won. It was great. And so I'm in the kitchen there and just trying to make myself some dinner. And I'm watching the game, and I think it was 3-2 Edmonton. I'm like, oh, man. The Jays had won, so I was in a really good mood. And I'm watching. I'm like, please don't let Edmonton do this. Not now. Not tonight. And then I turned my head and then kind of turned back and score. I'm like, they were on the PK, and I thought they were still in their zone. So I'm waiting. I'm like, okay, did he score from center ice or his own blue line? They show the replay. It's from their own face-off circle. And I guess Smith just didn't see it at all. Like he didn't even know it was coming. Which is, I think there's a few, like the Bieksa kind of stanchion goal. Like no one knew where it was except for, was it Zadorov or whatever his name is? Like just one of those perfect moment shot goals that make no sense, and it just happens. And yet he lets it in. Now, history will show that goal buries you. That goal has buried every single team.
Dan Cloutier.
Dan Cloutier did. I mean, Steve Smith did that to. Didn't the Oilers lose that series, or did they win? That was against Calgary, so that was in '89. So they lost that one. And correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure I remember it that way. But all those lengthy goals ended up crushing the team.
And this one was gross, right? I mean, it was like this. It was a decent zone exit. Zadorov gets the puck at center ice, and then he sort of does the old like turn and wheel and fire it. And it was like he pulled out his 9-iron to just almost go dump it in. But it was and then aside from the fact that they scored, right? And I think like possibly Duncan Keith, if you can call it that, was a screen on this play, only because he was shooting it from a mile away. But then the best thing about this whole thing was Mike Smith's reaction, like throws his arms up in the air to be like, what, who put that there? Like, whose fault was that? Somebody was in my way. I couldn't see the goal. Like, you know what I mean? Like instantly, like it looks like he's trying to place blame any way he can before finally accepting it that he blew it.
Always be prepared. Doesn't matter if you're playing minor ball or you're playing minor hockey or whatever. If you are not in ready stance, I've been telling this to the kids on the ball team. Like you can't be. There's a kid at bat. You can't be. There's people on the ice. It's the Stanley Cup playoffs. It's gonna be okay. You have no idea. Ask Dan Cloutier. He even got to play on that, and it still went in. Not good. Not good. And then freaking
and why go into the butterfly? Like, why try to catch it with your glove? Like, just get big and like block it. You're like you're Mike Smith. You're humongous.
And then was it Kane that scored? I think to put him ahead.
I'm not sure.
Oh, anyway, Oilers won. They're up 3-1. Just awful. Let's get into a quick live ad read. What do you say? So I've been talking about Move Health and Wellness. You guys know I'm a big fan of the parking situation in Kelowna. They have 2 other locations that aren't in Kelowna. One in Surrey City Center 2. Don't remember there because I haven't been in Surrey in a while. And then South Surrey and King George Boulevard. They got you covered absolutely everywhere. So Kelowna obviously has chiropractor registered massage therapy as well as counseling. But hey, if you're in the Lower Mainland, they've got physiotherapy, they've got kinesiology, they've got the counseling, they've got the chiropractor, registered massage as well, occupational therapy, they got a naturopathic medicine. That sounds like fun. Acupuncture, not a big fan. I can't do that. Cold laser therapy. I think we need to try that in Kelowna. We need to get something. Orthotics, bracing. They've got it all. So our good friend, Dr. John, he helped me out last week, as I said. Had some problems with my shoulder. Turns out it is, I'm going to forget the word, and it's an active kind of injury or whatever. Anyway, so my shoulder is back to normal. He gave me some great tips. They give you, the nice thing is when you go to a guy like Dr. John, or when, I don't know what you're doing, but that's great. Keep going. When you go there, and you're obviously on mute too. When you go there, you get like a game plan. After you're done, you get like your 3 like kind of take home workout or homework things that you can work on, so you can build those. Build those exercises back up so that you can get the movement. Whether it's again something with your shoulder, maybe you pulled a hammy or like something on your calf or whatever. They're going to give you proper things to work on so that you can get back and you get those repetitions going again. And you can get back to being yourself again. Maybe you need counseling. They do have that. This has been a pretty tough couple years. I was just at Home Depot the other day getting some stuff for our backyard gazebo, and I looked at the one cart and it said sanitized carts or unsanitized carts only. And I quickly went back to 2 years ago when we were all standing in line, a lot of us, 25-minute lines at Home Depot. And, everyone was affected a little bit differently when this was all kind of coming down. Some people were, laid off of their jobs based on it not being an essential service. We've all dealt with this whole thing in a different way. And maybe it's not just the whole COVID situation, but, maybe you've got some stuff that you need to help work on. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. They've got some great counselors there. I will speak about our Kelowna location because that's where we live. But at the same time, you do have that resource out in Surrey and South Surrey. If you're getting the physical stuff done, obviously, this is the place to be. I'm so excited that we kind of got partnered with Move. Gary, we kind of had a great chat about kind of how we fit together. And I think there's a lot in common with what we talk about. Obviously, you and I are quite active, whether it's on the ball field or, doing our track meet, or, hey, you're doing all your CrossFit. You forget, I mean, you're over 40 now. You're in the 40 year.
I'm there.
But yeah. You're over technically. I'm 38. I'm pushing for 39 soon. And I mean, I'm not getting younger, and I'm starting to feel things hurt when they shouldn't hurt. And there are people that can make that better for you. So again, Move Health and Wellness. Go check them out. They're there to help you out. They've got the great online booking system. It's all very blocked out. You can find out. It's color-coded. Find out when the next time you can go in there. Again, go see Dr. John in Kelowna. That guy is a legend now. Hopefully we can play some baseball with him again.
Yeah.
Here. Yeah.
And he's just, there's not enough talk about the fact that he's just like not your typical.
The guy is a gamer. Holy smokes.
Like chiropractor, right? I mean, it's not, you walk in, you're 5 minutes cracky, and you're gone. Like
I was there for 45 minutes.
Yeah. It takes you time with you, right? I mean, I think not enough people appreciate that. And it's more hands-on, and it's more than just an adjustment, because there is a lot more than just adjusting that needs to happen when you go see somebody.
And I want to say, so what I had, and I'll finish on this. I didn't have anything major, thankfully, but the nice thing about it too, if you're going to someone that is good and qualified and educated, I was being educated the entire time about, hey, this is why this is hurting, or this is why if this hurts, then you might feel it over here. And like all these things, he educates you the entire time. And there's something to be said for that, because I think we all kind of want to know what's going on in our body and how things work. So you start thinking about it too, as you're going through your day. Like, hey, I've really been, maybe been bracing or putting more pressure on this leg or on this arm, and realizing this is starting to hurt, or I'm sleeping this way. I've changed my sleeping habits actually. And it's surprising. Like I hug a pillow now, and my sleeping is like insanely better. So anyway, Move Health and Wellness. Thank you guys. Make sure you go check them out. I know that was, and do strongman like that. I don't know where that fits in, but let's get, I still don't know. I want to tie up the whole Calgary Edmonton series in a little bit of bull. I'm gonna mention a few things here: Markstrom, Tanev, and Evander Kane. So I want to get into Markstrom quickly. He's basically the victim of like the Kiprusoff syndrome. He's been played every single game for Calgary this year, save 10 less, and I think he's doing exactly what he did in Vancouver. He's starting to wear. I'm not saying that he's going to wear out, but it's the team in front of him is starting to show that they're not hanging around. You know what I mean?
I feel you.
I think the downfall is definitely, I mean, if Markstrom can't hold up, that's a big one. And it just shows how important goaltending is, or elite goaltending, going as far as you can go. And then you look at a guy like Chris Tanev. He's still banged up, but oh my goodness.
He's been banged up for 10 years now.
He is, but you just realize how important a guy like Tanev is.
Mm-hmm.
He's just an absolute mainstay. And when he's gone, everyone else, like, remember we talked about
I think we know that better than anybody.
Yeah. But now everybody's having to elevate to the, your 7 becomes your 5. Your 5 becomes your 3. Your 3 is now on the top pairing. Everybody's doing a job that they're not set up to do. And that's when you start getting problems. That's when you see guys take risks that they're not used to taking. That's when you see guys maybe stretch out a little bit longer or have a matchup that they're not used to and that they get exposed on. And then it happens once and it happens twice. And now all of a sudden you're down 3-1, and that's a very different game. And it's a lot tougher to come back from 3-1 than have a full onslaught of options and maybe be down 2-1, but you're only in the second period. It's pretty tough when you look at that. And then there's Evander Kane. I don't know if he sold his soul to win a Stanley Cup. Like, he's having a run.
It was a gamble.
I was going to say, as much as he gambled on it, they could win the Stanley Cup, and he's going to be all, was it Glenn Anderson? Was that the guy that sold all his rings? He's going to win, and he's going to have to sell his ring just to stay out of debt.
Like, I mean, I think, did he not get like a pretty like incentive laden contract? I can't remember.
I don't know, but I know he's.
I mean, all of the things considered, that's a really nice piece for Edmonton to add. You can just throw in a 25 goal scorer like that.
And he hasn't really been clicking on the last couple teams he was playing with. I mean, he was scoring, but not like this.
I mean, like, Evander Kane, the player Evander Kane is like everything that you wanted Jake Virtanen to be.
Yeah. We could just end there. And I think we both, we could just sit and look at each other. Someone's got to say something. What if we just agree? And then that's the end of it. And then we talked about Mike Smith. Alex Chason is not going to the Swiss League. According to, that was like the big talk today. Did you hear?
It was. I'm just like a little bit
like,
there's so much talk on Twitter right now, and we're feeling it right now, not being in the playoffs, because Alex Chason was filling up my timeline right now, along with the fact that I had a million DMs I had to answer about being hacked.
Oh yeah,
we'll get into that. Alex Chason going to the Swiss League. People spent the entire year saying, who gives a fuck about this guy? And then all of a sudden there's an announcement that he might go to the Swiss League, and we want his 12 goals back.
Like, and people are losing it today. Like,
yeah, it's crazy.
If you go through your timeline today,
we're talking about the PTO Alex, right? It's just insane.
It's crazy. You're just looking, Alex Chason this, and then all of a sudden PJ comes out with a tweet. Here's the text from Pat Morris. Yeah, he would like to stay in Vancouver.
I'm pretty sure that if my client has an NHL job, he would like to be in the NHL.
Yeah, and that Vancouver is his first option, and then we'll look at the NHL, and then if none of that works out, we'll look into it. Yeah, and we're freaking out today.
Like, I'll play PTOs all day long if it means I got a chance to get in. God, I'll Jack Skilly this shit and chew through a rope.
No kidding. Did he do that?
No, that was just like his line. I'll chew through a rope to get this. One of the best lines that I've heard in an NHL training camp for a long time. He made the team.
That's true, he did.
Yeah, he made the team.
Was that the year that Brendan Morrison didn't make the team?
No.
Oh, what'd you do there?
Yeah, it might have been.
Okay. Yeah, it's so Vancouver though, hey? That is such a Canucks thing.
Yeah, God, like,
You guys, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do with Lyndon Vay? Like, we gotta bring him back. Like, it's so stupid. Or like, were we ever in a spot where we needed Mason Raymond? Like, is that
yeah, we needed Mason Raymond so that we could package him with Ballard in a second.
Yeah. If we don't have that, then we don't have the trade.
Yeah, and we like Mason Raymond, but there was like, okay, like we didn't re-sign Mason Raymond. Like, oh no, we have to insert Michael Grabner and have him score 30 goals for a couple of years. Like, God, come on.
He went to Florida. Actually,
everybody. No, I know that's what I mean. Like, could have just as easily walked away from Raymond and then had Grabner step in. Like, it wasn't like crazy talk to have Raymond walk, right? Like,
I just didn't like that he tripped over the blue line all the
Glassy, we did not need Raymond.
No, we didn't.
Come on.
No.
You're better than that. Come on.
Is he though? Maybe he's not. If he believes this, I mean he was with me on the Letterkenny thing, so I think we've got something to
No, he wasn't. He said Letterkenny's funny, but it's no Sonny.
Oh, okay. Whatever. What do I know?
Don't twist it.
Don't throw words. Don't twist it. Change pace, and then we'll get back to Canucks. So I tried getting into the art gallery this weekend, the Kelowna Art Gallery.
Wow, how refined of you.
Well, I thought, I'm going to bring a little bit of class to this show and, go see some art. Go see, get some Van Goghs, some Beethoven's, finger paints, all that. No, in all seriousness, they have an Andy Warhol and Banksy and Mr. Brainwash and a bunch of other stuff.
Oh, you've been a Banksy guy for a long time.
I have. So this is now in town until October, but they were closed on the long weekend Monday, so I have to find another time to go. But it's going to be awesome. You should check it out.
But it was Banksy that did the like sold the painting, and then like the second somebody bought it, like auto remote shredded it. Then they stopped it.
And now it's worth more. It sold for like $2 million. And now I think it's worth like 4. The
half
way
shredded.
Yeah, because now it's a different art piece. It's taking on a new form, which is wild. I do have a Banksy book that I got.
Yes, I remember when you bought the Banksy book.
I got a couple years ago. No,
you were J.C. Guilford when you got that book.
There's a good chance that happened. Yes.
Yeah, I remember.
I
remember you talk, man, Banksy, and I was like, I don't know who Banksy is. So I did a little bit of looking up. It's pretty cool.
There is a movie or a documentary, if you will. I'm so classy like that. It's called Exit Through the Gift Shop. It is awesome.
Do they feel like they know who Banksy is now?
I think there's a few people that do know who he is, but most of the world doesn't. Like, they let in the one guy to make the documentary, and that was pretty much it. Other than that, he's a leaf in the something in the wind. Something in the wind. I don't know.
So we're gonna get together when that doc comes out. We'll watch Banksy.
Well, it's out already. It came out in 2010. It won an Oscar.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Have you watched it?
I've seen it like 7 times.
Oh, okay.
I'm a fiend.
Did you know that? Did you know that there's a Weird Al Yankovic doc coming out with?
I'm so excited for that. It's gonna be great. And who is playing Weird Al? It's
Do you want to take some time to guess?
Is it like Harry? No, not Harry.
Nah, you're there on the Harry though.
Freaking Harry. I remember, but just
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter, the freaking Harry Potter guy.
Yeah, that's the guy.
Yeah, what's his pickle? Harry
Daniel
Potter
Radcliffe,
guy.
Yeah,
Daniel Radcliffe. Yeah, he's my favorite Radcliffe. He's not as good as Heathcliff, but my favorite Radcliffe.
Oh, yeah, good.
Remember Heathcliff?
There. I do remember Heathcliff. Yeah.
Cat. Hey, what's up? He's no Garfield though. We could go down on a cat.
Yeah, we're a step away from just starting to run down the hall.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, Banksy, Andy Warhol. I think it's pretty cool. I'm going to take the kids over there. And
when is that?
It's till October.
Oh, like in our shitty little museum?
Yeah.
Wow.
Art gallery. We're not talking about museums today. I don't have $700 million to talk about that.
I'll go check.
What a freaking joke. What a joke. Like, We're like,
Trying to
okay,
run for premier here. What's going
okay,
on?
folks. So we've got, a housing crisis. We're trying to, getting people healthy from
Not going to go
COVID,
there. Goes
amongst
there.
other things. And you know what? Let's build a museum. Not renovate one. Let's build a brand new one. And I'm not saying that we don't deserve to be cultured and that these things are important, but they're not important right now. Let's read the room, folks.
Yeah.
I know it has nothing to do with hockey, but let's maybe not spend almost $800 million on something that, did we really need the jumbo bag of chips when that's probably a bad reference. Did we need the big screen TV when we're saving up to go somewhere? That's probably a better one.
Yeah. Did we really need the big screen TV when we still don't have drywall
Or
up?
electricity. Like, no, but it was on sale. Nah, it's not really. You paid full price for that bad boy. Okay. So anyway, I'm cultured and you guys should check this thing out. Finally, so I've been thinking about this. The Canucks, they're not in the playoffs. It
What?
didn't take me too long to think about that part. But when you think about it, and we're watching all these teams right now, we're watching the Tampas dominate. We're watching Colorado with the Nate McKinnons. Please check out that goal that he scored tonight. It is nasty business. Do you see it?
Oh, yeah.
It's donkulous. You see the Conor McDavids. We're seeing guys like Evander Kane. We're seeing Nazem Kadri. We're also seeing goaltenders like Vasilevsky. We're seeing, to a degree, Markstrom, but not
Shesterkin.
Shesterkin. There's a lot of great pieces that are absolutely killing it in the playoffs right now that do every year. This is a great year, though, when we really talk about individual talent.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking, what pieces do the Canucks already have? And then what pieces are we watching that we have the not good version of? That basically, this is like a thinking moment, because this is where we realize, what do the Canucks actually not have? So we've got a number one center or winger, depends on what you want to think about him, and that's Elias Patterson.
We've
You
got a
have,
number one center who's got to get better on the draw.
sure, but
By all accounts, a number one center.
he's something that we can definitely enjoy in the playoffs and build upon, and he can be a guy that carries them. He's proven it. We've got a guy named Thatcher Demko in net, and we saw it in it's not a bad example. We saw it in the bubble. Thatcher Demko dragged the Canucks to 6 games, or is it 7 games? I can't remember. It's been a while. Against Vegas. It's been that many years. I can't remember. Anyway, he dragged the Canucks kicking and screaming. They did lose, but he was pretty much the essential reason that they got as far as they did. You've also got an absolute stud defenseman in Quinn Hughes. Those are big 3. Bo Horvat is a pretty great option as well. But then you've got Brock Besser. You've got JT Miller. You've got Alex Strazon. You've got some options that are good. And yeah, you can win some games in the playoffs.
I would say JT Miller is probably a plus good. I would say Bo Horvat's proven he's probably more than just a good player in the playoffs too.
I think the problem is, though, a guy like JT Miller likely isn't going to be on the Canucks. I think we're about to hear that he's priced himself out of this team.
I think so.
That's
okay. That makes more sense. Yeah, sure.
So now you look at a guy like Kucherov. Who is the Canucks Kucherov? We don't have one. That's my point. So we
don't have a the Canucks Kucherov is supposed to be a Brock Besser, and I don't think that he's
there. You go.
I don't think that he's playoff. I don't think that he's a viable playoff weapon. Like,
is he going to go through 4 rounds at some point when he's hit his absolute peak?
No.
And is he going to score you 20 goals in the playoffs?
No. I think he. Oh man, people are going to hate me for this. I think he's like a better version of a Tanner Pearson or a Tyler Toffoli. Like, I think he's a nice player who can do nice things, but you don't count on him as one of your top 3 players, right? And at the end of the day, I think he's probably an expendable piece. He's probably looked at as like a hired gun on many teams down the road, right?
But he exactly, a hired gun. He's not the gun.
He's not the gun. No, I think he's help. And this team needs help. So don't get me wrong. Like you have to
Yeah.
have help, but I don't think he's a core piece.
Yeah, he's not that. He's not the main. He's not your
And
main winger.
and I have been pretty bullish in the last few years about Brock Besser's quality. And
Mhm.
I think that I've seen enough now where I think I know what he is now. And
We have to
I
be
don't,
realistic about it though,
yeah.
too,
Yeah.
right?
And I
Like,
think because now that what's comes into play is the price point on him. And I think for what he's doing, I like him. For what he's doing, I don't like him at his dollar amount.
exactly. You're paying him to be a Kucherov. At the
So
same time,
there is
he's
no
giving you
Cooch.
the output. He's giving you the output on a level of, like you said, a Toffoli or a Pearson.
And quite frankly, I think in one, probably two, but in 1 year's time, I'd much rather see those minutes go to a guy like Puck-Holzen
Mm-hmm. Or Kuzmenko.
or Kuzmenko. Yeah, I mean, I don't know enough about Kuzmenko to say that he's
You know
going to
what
be a
though?
Brock Besser
You know
replacement,
enough
but I
though.
know he is going to be at that price point for sure. Guy's an NHLer. We think we know that much.
You get 1 year to
And
figure it
he's
out.
at the very least a minimum wage,
Yeah.
like a baseline minimum
Yeah.
NHL winger.
So worst case, let's say you pay him even next year. So let's say the Canucks get him. Let's just say for a second.
Sure.
So you get him on that 1 year absolute sweetheart deal.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to pay him as a top 6 winger. So even if you paid him $5 to $6 million, you're still $3 million less than Brock Besser, and you're getting almost the same output.
Still better, yeah. It's still better.
And
It's unfortunately it's the same reason why you have to consider letting a guy like JT walk.
Okay, so that's the next guy, right? So we look at now. McKinnon's probably the wrong example. I'm trying to think of essentially who that other guy is. So
I mean, he might be their version.
I mean, I'm looking at. I mean, that's a pretty good option. Obviously, we have our, and I'm again, hear me out. We have our Conor McDavid or Steven Stamkos. We have that one guy, not the same level. We've got our Patterson, right? That's that first piece, right? So we've got that guy. But then, like, do we have a Johnny Gaudreau? Do we have a Carter Verhaeghe? Do we have a Ryan O'Reilly? Do we have even past his prime, but not past his prime, Brad Marchand? Do we have like maybe Landeskog? Is that like our Bo Horvat?
Probably. Center, but yeah, probably.
Even still, like Landeskog, who would you take? I mean, different. One's a winger, one's a center. But geez, if you had to pick,
I mean, I'd probably take Bo.
Would you over Landeskog? Really?
I think just because he plays center.
Okay,
I think his center is more valuable than a winger.
Okay, so then we look at a guy like Nazem Kadri, and I mean, he's a bit of a pest, but he's having what a run, and especially on that team. So again, he is
especially with all the bullshit he's putting up with.
I have no place for that. That's disgusting. I feel like this is a conversation that comes up way too many times.
Yeah, it's dumb.
I
don't even like to talk about it.
No, it's gross.
Yeah, I mean, I have to go into my DMs and delete tweets from every couple of weeks, right? Like it's dumb. There's no point.
There's no place for that. And again, we've had this conversation, and I don't want it to go there. Let's keep this on the up and ups, so that everyone, then we don't have to go that road. We're not going to give that situation what it feeds on. We don't have a Matthews Chuck. I mean, we did. We decided that Oli 11.
But I mean, not. I mean, there's like 25 teams in the league that don't have a Matthew Tkachuk.
But you know what I mean? Like, I'm going through all these guys, like Ryan Nugent.
I'll say, I don't know where you're going with this point, but I'll say that there's 4, maybe 5 pieces on this team that you can build a playoff contending team around that play roles that you need them to. And I think the main issue with this team is not centered around what those stud pieces look like, because I think they're in the right spots, right?
Mm-hmm.
Center, defense, goal,
right?
But it's centered around the depth and the key pieces that are supposed to be there helping them, and the complete lack of defensive depth. Like, you shouldn't be looking at Tyler Myers and the ghost of OEL.
And really hoping Jack Rathbone pans out.
Yeah,
like, hey, that's great if he does, but you can't be banking on
real that's a real Hail Mary, right? I mean, this team needs better defenders. Period.
So, as I
Full
said,
stop.
yeah, I think that's a pretty easy way to kind of like you kind of put a nice little bow on it. The Canucks have a few pieces, but if you start comparing all those other like the secondary and the tertiary pieces, that's third.
Ooh, tertiary.
I bring that up every now and then. But we don't have like that elite winger. We don't have that goal scorer that just goes and scores goals. You're getting 30 goal scorer. We've been close. We've talked about that he can be that guy, but he isn't that guy. We don't have like Brock Besser isn't that guy. We do not have a winger that you can throw out there. We don't have what we thought Louis Eriksson was going to be. We don't have what Tyler Toffoli was. They let walk. Wouldn't have he been a nice piece that could like again? There's a guy you could have helped build with, and they just don't have those pieces. So, as I said, you look at the NHL, you look at what is going on in the playoffs right now. And there are so many pieces that the Canucks do not have. And now it's crunch time. And as I said, you look at JT Miller, and it sounds like push is starting to come to shove, and it'll be an off-season thing. But that's going to be a real conversation, and I think the Canucks can make something of that.
They have the right core pieces in place, and they're not that far off. The thing that's preventing them to make major steps is the contracts that are in place on this roster currently, and that's going to be a real challenge for this team to get around.
You like the name of our show tonight? All the pain money can buy. It's
quality.
Good. It's quality. Yeah. So that's kind of what I got. We got a ball game tomorrow night.
Do we?
We do.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Please show up. That'd be great.
Look at that. I'll come.
Yeah, I hope so. We need you. It's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm not sure where the Oilers are going to be the next time we talk. Do they close out Calgary? I think it's now possible. I didn't believe that.
I hope so. I dislike Calgary more than I dislike Edmonton.
I do really dislike Calgary. And I think the narrative of the McDavid, Draisaitl, Vander Kane, all these guys that have just stepped up. It'd be cool to see Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. There's one guy I really don't want to see them win, but if they did, like a guy like Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, who basically rumored to be have traded multiple times.
Could you imagine if Edmonton wins? Because every time a team wins, right, the blueprint in the NHL changes. If a team like Edmonton wins, it's going to be like anyone but Calgary, ANC, Glassy. Yeah. Hundy P. Mm-hmm. If somehow Edmonton wins, does that the NHL then goes and copies this blueprint now for building a team? So basically, you
need a generational talent.
Go draft two studs. So draft a generational talent and an Art Ross quality forward, and go get yourself an aging former Norris winner. Did Duncan Keith win the Norris? I think he did. Yeah,
he did. Okay.
And then also go get yourself some super inconsistent goaltender.
Yeah,
and just hope that he goes on a heater at the right time.
Just find a trash bag with 2 sticks, and that should work. Yeah, what a model that would be. The Edmonton model.
I mean, that would be great for the rest of the league, but yeah.
That makes me sick to my stomach even thinking about that.
All right.
Yeah.
Good.
So
good little rant there on the Edmonton. That just, I don't like talking about them.
You took this to a place it didn't need to be. This, as I said, you guys, please, if you can, go and tell your friends about our show. We've been here long enough. You like us. We like you. You can go to Apple. You can go to Spotify. Tell a friend. Tell a coworker. Tell that guy that you see on the bus every day, hey, great podcast I'm listening to right now. I don't care if you're listening to the Murder Mystery. You got to listen to this potentially best Kelowna podcast about hockey. It's great. They've got great guests. They've got great people on the show. Give us some love. We would love it. We want to make sure that this keeps going as long as humanly possible. As long as the Canucks are relevant, we'll have a show. And make sure, like I said, just do us a solid share. We're gonna have that contest coming. I'm still waiting for the pieces to come together. I've got obviously the sandals. Hats are showing up anytime now, and the other thing for the golf course you're all gonna enjoy. Make sure to stay tuned with us. Make sure that you're not responding to Ted's DMs about being hacked. I thankfully didn't get one of those. So
I have DM'd a lot of people today.
yeah, kind of rough
Yeah.
day. Rough day. At the
One of
office.
those days. I felt the need to apologize too.
Wow.
I would say like 60 people.
Oh no,
Yeah,
that's not good.
it was a lot.
That's not good.
You didn't get one though, hey?
I felt left out. I'm not gonna
That's
lie.
good. That means that not everybody got one.
That's good. Usually I get tagged on the Facebook the hackings. It always seems to come through on Facebook. Like, if you got an offer for this, I'm like, shoot, I already clicked it.
Thank you, Glassy. That's appreciate you jumping on, buddy. That was good.
Yeah, he's good people, and apparently we need to be on Bonzi soon, so we'll make that happen.
That'd be fun. I'd love to get on there.
Yeah, he's apparently got consistent Wi-Fi now. So anyway, something like that. I'm not quite sure. Here's the thing: we're the PP1 Podcast. Ted, Ryan, thanks for coming by. Thanks, Glassy, for joining the chat tonight. Much appreciated. Go Canucks, go next time we talk. Hopefully we are talking about some pretty crazy conference finals. And you guys, it's almost summertime. We're almost there.
Oh,
I can feel it.
we're there.
Beers and sunshine.
We're there. No, we're there.
We're there?
We're there.
Okay.
We're there.
Peace out.